Reckless, gifted, provocative, irreverent, intelligent, courageous. It's a crazy bag of labels, but over the years, the man at the center of this tale has comfortably worn them all. But in August 2002, singer-songwriter Warren Zevon was tagged with another label, terminally ill. Given just 3 months to live, he set out to make the record of a lifetime.
Sometimes I wonder what tomorrow's gonna bring when I think about my dirty life and times.
When I think about my dirty life and times.
That was a little Johnny Cash, but it was great.
Give me a little bit of Warren on both lines. I first met Warren Zevon in the late 80s when I moved in next door to him. Was that okay, Warren?
Billy, they're all good. I could listen to you do it all night, you know, a million different characters.
All right. I quickly joined a long list of people who have fallen under his spell. Let me try one more.
Okay, all right.
Warren has a huge posse of friends, and when news of his illness got around, all the big guns rode into town.
El Jefe.
You in a guitar mood?
Yeah, man, let's try that.
To rock legends like Bruce Springsteen, Jackson Browne, Tom Petty, and Eagles Don Henley, Timothy B. Schmidt, and Joe Walsh, Warren is a much-revered maverick.
I want her to be free.
Sounds good to me. What do I know, right?
Yeah.
He's able to mythologize and satirize all in one stroke.
Trust me when I tell you I'm not good enough for her.
The son of a Russian gangster, Warren spent a hard-knock childhood parked at the piano, studying Mozart and Brahms. But as a teen, he was seduced by rock and roll.
Well, he's just an excitable boy.
By the early 70s, Warren's handiwork was in high-profile demand. Linda Ronstadt, Bob Dylan, and Stevie Nicks all covered his songs.
He could really, in 3 minutes, tell you an entire story.
Splendid isolation. I don't need no one.
I think people should listen to his songs, especially people that want to be great songwriters.
It's really how he feels and how he looks at life. And of course that translates into his writing.
With his own albums, Warren began building a cult following. Critics loved him. Musicians envied him. But he'd have to howl at the moon to really be heard. Written on a sea of vodka in 1975, Werewolves of London was an offbeat smash. With his full moon anthem shining worldwide, Warren lunged at rock excess with a vengeance.
I'm Mr. Bad Example. Take a look at me.
He was wild, and I think he figures he'd survive to this point what most mortal men would not survive.
I'm gone to detox mansion, way down on Last Breath Farm.
Years into a world-class binge, Warren hopped off the sauce and onto the wagon in 1980.
He made a very courageous statement to the press and said, I've got a drinking problem, I'm gonna do something about it, and he did something about it.
A newly sobered Zevon spun his near-death tales into scores of darkly comic songs.
I lay my head on the railroad tracks.
The Grim Reaper made a cameo on most of them.
Poor, poor, pitiful babe. Poor, poor, pitiful babe.
That's always been his humor, you know. Death has been a pervasive theme in everything that he's ever done.
This is Warren. This is Old Velvet Nose. This is his backstage pass at his concert. It's a skull smoking a cigarette.
I was in the house when the house burned down.
But in the summer of '02, death became more than just a lyrical concern for Warren when he was diagnosed with a rare and deadly form of lung cancer. A few years back, Warren told a reporter, "If you're lucky, people like something you do early and something you do just before you drop dead." So when doctors gave him the news, he went straight into the studio to create his sonic So Long. This is Warren Zevon's diary of those bittersweet days.
Hey! Disorder in the house. The tub runneth over. Plaster falling down in pieces by the couch of pain. Disorder in the house. Time to duck and cover. Helicopters hover over rough terrain.
Clearly, one of the reasons we find ourselves here, and I find myself in a unique position of not being able to complain about my present circumstances, is that I've always been interested in writing about death. You know, Hemingway said all good stories end in death.
I lay my head on the railroad track and wait for the AA.
I went to Canada to do a couple of folk shows, and there was some fellow in the gym with me. I said, "What's the elevation here, buddy?" Because I was very short of breath.
Poor, poor, pitiful me. Poor, poor, pitiful me.
My failing is that I've always been a little doctor phobic. One of my best friends is Stan Golden, my dentist, Dr. Stan, and I used to say, if Dr. Stan if he can't fix it, call 911, I'm done. And I mentioned to Dr. Stan that I had shortness of breath, and he said, well, we're going to a cardiologist in the morning. And I was lucky, I think, because I got all the news, I got all the progression of tests, you know, all the roller coaster ride of hopes and shocking news in the course of one day.
Will you stay with me till the end? When there's nothing left but you and me in the wind. Oh, sweet darling.
Miss Kristen, what are they going to do with you?
I have no idea.
Documentary.
Oh, documentary. That means factual, doesn't it?
Well,
Well,
theoretically. Anything you want to say about me?
he's terrific.
Okay, but I want that girl who gives you the Steve McQueen line, the one you have to die for.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Hoist the mainsail, here I come. Ain't no room on board for the insincere.
I think I look like a baboon from Newcastle trying to get a job in a toothpaste commercial.
You're my witness, I'm your mutiny.
I'm here for you, sweetie.
What?
I'm here for you.
You know that poem I keep reciting to myself when I feel sorry for myself?
Yeah.
The Rilke poem. Anyone who has no house now will never have a house. Anyone who's alone will always be. Most intimate thing I've ever said to another human being, and there's a microphone on my shirt.
probably some.
And your man, mother grinning, who says, "Don't worry, none of it picks up."
That amazing grace sort of passed you by. You wake up every day and you start to cry.
We're kind of in the heart of darkness, the scariest place I could have thought of being. But once you get there, you find out that there are really nice, caring people here, and it's not so scary. So that's my message.
I'm going to, I think, put you in the chair that has the back.
All right.
And are you short of breath right now?
A little bit.
A little bit? Can you speak to someone on the telephone without having to stop in the middle and take a breath?
Yes.
Okay. You're down about 5.5 pounds.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
No.
No? Okay. You're a little lighter.
I thought it was just a haircut.
No, I don't think so. Tell me about pain, where you're having it, what parts of your body are hurting, how much pain you're having.
Not very much.
Not very much? Okay, point to where you're having pain.
Well, if I wake up, or it's been a long time since I've had any medication, and it's just a broad sort of, sometimes there's a little sharper pain in the side, but it's not as specific.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. How about any other place?
Well, let's chase these guys out for this part of the discussion.
Okay.
Are you getting the staggering from this angle, or are you cutting off there? Good man. I was reading a biography of Sammy Davis Jr., and it said that even though he was ill when he was diagnosed with cancer, he went out there and he danced Mr. Bojangles even though he was sick, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do it.
He likes grades, so it makes my job real easy.
Well, he went down to dinner in his Sunday
What, are you
best.
gonna give us a show?
It's the one. This is it.
Oh, it's great.
These pants look okay, like with this. Is that okay?
Then we'd go down a size, wouldn't he?
I love that suit.
He dug up her grave and filled a cage with her bones.
Alas, New York. I knew him, Horatio.
Cool. All right, dude. Break a leg in New York with Mr. Letterman, and then I'll see you Saturday. And you give me a report. All right. Yeah. See you later.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
These are all to Gary?
If I could get one to Tommy, T-O-M-M-Y.
Okay. Okay.
That's my friend. Thank you very much.
So you actually saw you live on Letterman one time, quite a few years ago. And we're with you all the way. I know your problems right now, so
Thank you.
you're in my thoughts, so take it easy.
So much to do, there's plenty on the farm. I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's Saturday night.
I'll be right back.
Raise a little harm. I'll sleep when I'm dead.
I always forget to eat. That's what keeps screwing me up. She went out and got it. I was going to eat it right now.
That was Danny. The New Yorker wants to do a piece on you. And they
Too
want-
late.
That's, you know, that's what I think too. So
Too late.
Time marches on. Time stands still. Time on my hands. Time to kill. We contemplate eternity beneath the vast indifference
of heaven. Dead man walking.
I don't think I'm in denial about death, but I was in denial about the idea that I was really going to have to go and do 45 minutes of essentially live network television myself. But Dave's been a great friend to me. He's been the best friend my music ever had.
Okay. And don't project, don't blow your voice. That's the main thing. Just mark it.
I was concerned about whether I was going to be able to sing or whether I would lose wind or lose my voice, but I believe that everybody who does this, what I do, is an entertainer, should think of themselves as an entertainer, a show business entertainer.
Tonight, legendary singer-songwriter Warren Zevon.
I didn't know he could play that.
Oh, yeah, I know he could play it.
You're, I guess a couple of months ago, we all learned that your life has changed radically, hasn't it?
You mean you heard about the flu?
Yeah, kind of about the flu.
Yeah. Well, it's true.
How did you learn about it, and what is it, and how have things been since?
What was the order of those questions again?
Entirely up to you. Any way you want to field them.
How did I learn about it?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, let me say that I might have made a tactical error in not going to a physician for 20 years.
I see, all right.
It was one of those phobias that really didn't pay off.
From your perspective now, do you know something about life and death that maybe I don't know now?
Not unless I know how much you're supposed to enjoy every sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
How's your family?
They're holding up pretty well. It's tough on them, but they're holding up pretty well. Yeah. You know, we're a pretty close family, me and my kids.
Good. You have the two, the boy and the girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Let me just say now, thank you for being here, and thank you for everything.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Mr. Zevon is going to perform for us.
Rolling the headless Thompson gunner. The eternal Thompson gunner, still wandering through the night. And now it's 10 years later, but he still keeps up the fight. In Ireland, in Lebanon, in Palestine, and Berkeley. Matty Hearst heard the burst of a Rollins Thompson gun and bought it.
Yes, sir. There you go. Warren Zevon, everybody. Warren, enjoy every sandwich. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Warren. Thanks, buddy. Thank you so much.
See you around Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Warren. Bye, Warren. Thanks for everything, Warren. Beautiful. Warren, love you, brother. Bye, Kristen. Say, Will's pops me, my brother. Love you, Warren. Woo! Love you, Warren.
Never replace him.
Playing your own weight is a rare opportunity for a show business personality, and I think one that most performers wouldn't take on, but not the easiest thing in the world to do.
What was the hardest part about it for you?
Saying goodbye. Yeah, they're all close friends. Here in the hotel too. It's all like family. 20 years.
To be everything she could be with me. say which is worse.
I did the thing you're not supposed to do, which is tune into what the fans write on the internet. And they're all saying it's like heroic that I won't get treatment. And I think there's something so incredibly morbid about that. You know, I stalled the discussion of having treatment so I could finish the record because I didn't want any drastic alterations of my health other than dying. And, well, I was really kind of shocked and disappointed in people when I read that. That's why he's our hero. Because he won't get treatment. Because, you know, I think it's a sin not to want to live. Let's do another bad one then, because I like it when the blood drains from Dave's face.
I'm numb as a statue. I may have to beg, borrow, or steal some feelings from you, so I can have some feelings too.
The past several albums, because of a limited budget and a big ego, I played most of the instruments myself.
But there's nothing quite beats if you can get all the musicians together. That's the grand style.
Jackson Browne said to me,
about 25 years ago, you get by with a little help from your friends.
Hey, Billy, just in time.
Billy Bob Thornton has a voice that really blends well with me.
It's always been a pleasure to work with David Lindley and Jim Keltner.
And I've always wanted to work with Ry Cooder. This album I'm doing, I guess, almost exclusively with Jorge Calderon, my oldest friend and closest collaborator.
Hey, we got a lot of talent. Let's go on that work chant.
Yes, let's do that chant. It's a unison chant. We just keep going underneath the solo.
Prison Grove is our prison song. Prison is metaphor, prison is, you know, what have you.
As we were writing it, Jorge says, the prison is your body. My disease.
Some folks have to die too hard. Some folks have to cry too hard. Take one last look at the prison yard. Goodbye, prison grove.
I'd be an idiot if I wasn't less than pleased about being doomed. But I feel lucky or blessed to be around for so long, and I still love every day.
Shine on, shine the light on me.
Is inspiration coming easily?
Yes, it comes very easily. It's never happened before in my life. Inspiration always came painfully, brutally, and rarely. And I'm not saying it's a good trade-off, but there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas, and a lot of tunes coming real fast, as you know, Nicky.
Does it keep the anxieties at bay?
Does it keep the anxieties at bay? No. No, the anxieties are there. I'd be a fool if I wasn't, concerned. But it certainly helps more than anything else. More than anything they can prescribe, it helps. And it was great, Don.
That's right. Thank you. This feels great.
It was what I hoped and great.
I'm very, very well, thank you. Had to come and see you.
Kristen, Steffel, Timothy
Hi.
Smith.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
I'm in an odd kind of position.
Yes, I'd say so.
Oh, Spain?
Glad you're doing some music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's very distracting.
That's correct.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm a football fan, or a soccer
Really
fan.
great to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Why don't we do the choruses first?
I wanted to be happy. Something like that. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be free.
What do you think?
It sounds beautiful.
I think that was okay.
Yeah.
Go to the next one, I think.
He sings it.
I'd wait here for 1,000 years if she come back to me. I have everything she wants, nothing that she needs.
Now and then, I like to think I have some good-hearted romantic impulses and express them in songs, but I'm interested in communicating what meager ideas I think I have about living. I'm interested in saying goodbye to a few people.
Trust me when I tell you I'm not good enough for her.
I have certain things to say to people, and I seem to be given the opportunity to get them down and, you know, and get them recorded and get them out, for which I'm very grateful.
So father, son, arm length.
Yeah.
You know, the things that matter to me most are my two kids and making music.
There's a message in this bottle, and I'll drink until I find it. 'Cause I've searched my soul for answers and discovered I've been blinded.
Jordan and Ariel have been such an amazing blessing and comfort to me all their lives, but certainly since I got sick, particularly. I think we have the gift of making the most of it.
It's not fair to die at 55. It's not fair to die at 55. You know, it's just what it is.
Are you feeling the pressure of time a lot?
The pressure of time? Am I feeling the pressure of time? I take a nap and wake up and, and look around and make sure I'm still here. And, so far, every nap I've woken up from, I've still been here.
The phone don't ring. No, no. And the sun refused to shine. Never thought I'd have to pay so dearly for what was already mine.
Just remember, 2 Pulitzer Prizes.
No, I only got one.
You only got one?
Well, it's VH1, they won't know. That's right, Warren, 2 and a Nobel.
I like a man who keeps his morphine right on the table.
Who dipped my hair?
Well. Did you give the guy a credit card? Did you pay?
Mm-hmm.
He's like on every known painkiller, and he still beat me to the check.
You know, the deal
I finished the album, Chemo.
Really?
Yeah.
Then all your hair's gone and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Now that I gotta see.
And you get that spook-ass look.
Can I come back for that? If you do chemo, I could shave my skull. But I do want to see you bald. Because you know what? You can do a whole
There is something going.
And you
Now
know
we
what
got a
else?
good thing going.
I got 2 works for you.
Yeah. More
Think
pussy?
about it. No. Okay, you're doing morphine. Tattoo. That's one word, but it's 2 syllables. Seriously, tattoos.
Of what?
Just, I don't know, but like, it's something like most people regret them for the rest of their lives. Well, in your case...
They should. That's the whole idea, tattoo.
Hey, in your case, you just like...
What, maybe like a tiger? What do you think?
I think a tiger would be wonderful, or a frog.
How about a waterfall? That'd be unique.
Don't let us get sick. Don't let us get old. Don't let us get stupid, all right. Just make us be brave and make us play nice. And let us be together tonight.
I asked a friend of mine who's a cancer survivor if she thought I had a good chance of dying with my boots on, and she said, yeah. So that's a hope. You know, there's certain medication that kind of masks the symptoms.
Oh, God.
But I have no complaints. I expected it to be worse.
Life's not over.
What lines you want me to sing? All of them?
Yeah.
I see.
I think you should take a pass at the song.
I get it.
I have been reading it all lately since my diagnosis. You know, my candy boy, Schopenhauer, said we love to buy books because we believe we're buying the time to read them. Isn't that grand?
Should we give it a shot, Warren?
Yeah, why not? I mean, the rest of my short life has gone by while we wait for you to ask me that question.
Okay, here we go.
Disorder in the house. Disorder in the house. Time runneth over.
You're behind a beat.
I'm not getting any vocal.
1, 2, 3.
Disorder in the house.
No. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Disorder in the house. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Disorder in the house. I live with the losses and watch the sun down through the portiere.
Here it comes.
We got some lines. Maybe we should figure out what we need at this point.
I think that's a good idea. We got a lot of good stuff.
Okay. They're gonna find the one line they tolerate.
Disorder in the house. Time and duck and cover. Helicopters over the rain.
Okay. I'm wondering if there's something about the energy level you're now and maybe in the morning when you're more fresh, you can like really, do it better.
Trying to throw some kind of George C. Scott gloom over the situation.
No, it's just that we work so hard to get to do this that we need to just do it, And if you can come here fresh and do it, and then do whatever you want. I mean, it's, you know.
Jorge, I'm dying. I don't have no fresh.
I know, but also we, you know, I mean.
You gotta understand that. Fresh is not in my vocabulary.
Totally understand that, but also we're celebrating life every day. Yours, mine, and everybody else's. We'll come in the morning fresh, bushy-tailed.
You're taking this too seriously. What do you think, boys? Do you think you go down a fiery hole 1,000,000 miles long?
Oh, no.
Well,
what do you think, boys?
That's here.
Hmm?
I'll tell you, seen that?
Now that's here. Where we go after this is way better. I'll have a special place for you there. Miles will come visiting, blow his horn, jam. You know, there's no fiery hole there. Stop. That's great.
Something like that. I mean, I can sing a little harder or something, you know, whatever. I mean, I think I ought to be laying off on some of the lines and just letting Warren sing them, really. I mean, I think...
I love Bruce very much, and the thing about Springsteen is that he's exactly the person that everybody hopes he would be.
It's a little bit better, you know?
Come in here, Bruce. Yeah, he's just down to earth.
He stuck by me through some,
yeah?
through some
I bet.
weird stuff, man.
Wonderful.
The real bad times.
Jesus, the Portier and the Lasso Apso and the... What? This is a Zevonian dialect here.
This is a moment.
There you go.
Yeah. Let's get it. Let's get it solo.
Get the solo.
Disorder in the house. All bets are off. I'm sprawled across the Davenport of despair. Disorder in the house. I'll live with the losses and watch the sun down through the 40 air. Here we go. But gosh,
Good.
And you are him.
All right, that was the rundown. Now let's take it.
Oh, man. Whoa. That was some good stuff on it, man.
That's glorious, man. That's glorious.
Life's a lot of fun. You have to remember that, and you have to keep having fun. I'm not really smoking. But I do have that Bogart, notice the hand position.
Is that non-filtered, are you sure?
Yeah, it is non-filtered. What would you do if you had a month to live?
I've dramatically outlived the predictions of the doctors. I'm beginning to feel like a fraud. But I'm not a hypochondriac, honest. They told me I had a few months. Is there any kicking activity to be?
Seems pretty quiet right now.
You can see it now, probably, right? I'm awfully excited, you know.
We've decided that Augustus's middle name will be Warren.
Ariel's pregnancy and the twins mean the world to me, and since I've come this far, I'm pretty darn determined to meet them.
Shall we roll?
We're gonna try
I
some.
hope so.
Yeah.
So,
I'm fading faster than the flowers of early spring.
Shadows are falling and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean I love you any less. Keep me in your heart for a while. When you get up in the morning and you see that crazy sun.
When I got the diagnosis, I picked up the guitar and I found myself writing this song.
There's a train leaving nightly called when all is said and done. Keep me in your heart for a while.
Sounds great.
It really does.
It
That's
does?
really- oh,
It really does.
great.
That was
Wanna hug you.
perfect.
On reflection, it might be a little bit of a woe is me song, but it made me realize that I knew what I was going to do with the rest of the time.
Let's try the other verses. Sometimes
I think that writing songs is an act of love, you know. And you write songs because you love the subject and you want to pass that feeling on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't have any big, you know, farewell speech to make.
When the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I'll be right next to you. Engine drivers headed north to Pleasant Street. Keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep turning, but they're running out of steam. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Keep me in your heart for a while. Why stop now? Let's party for the rest of the night. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10. You wanna go home? Why, honey, when we may never get this chance again. Let's party for the rest of the night. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. Let's party for the rest of the night. Shadows are falling and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean I love you any less. Keep me in your heart for a while. When you get up in the morning and you see that crazy sun, keep me in your heart for a while. There's a train leaving nightly called when all is said and done. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you'll think of me and smile. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. Keep me in your heart for a while. Hold me in your thoughts, take me to your dreams, touch me as I fall into view. And when the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I will be right next to you. Engine drivers headed north to Pleasant Street, keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep turning, but they're running out of steam. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Disorder in the house, the tub runneth over, plaster falling down in pieces by the couch of pain. Disorder in the house, time to duck and cover, helicopters hover over rough terrain. Disorder in the house, reptile wisdom, zombies on the lawn, staggering around. Disorder in the house, there's a flaw in the system, and the fly in the ointment's gonna bring the whole thing down. The floodgates are open, we've let the demons loose. The big guns have spoken, and we've fallen for the ruse. Disorder in the house, it's a fate worse than fame. Even the Lhasa Apso seems to be ashamed. I want to handle that one myself. Disorder in the house, the doors are coming off the hinges. The earth will open and swallow up the real estate. I just got my paycheck, I'm gonna paint the whole town gray. Whether it's a night in Paris or a Fresno matinee, it's the home of the brave and the land of the free, where the less you know, the better off you'll be. I'm sprawled across the Davenport of despair. Disorder in the house. I'll live with the losses. Watch the sun down through the 40 air. Here we go.
You are him.
That's glorious, man. That's glorious.
Tell us, I know you may feel sometimes blessed and sometimes cursed by the success of Werewolves. Tell us a bit about what you went through after that, how that affected you, if it affected you.
When Werewolves of London, when Excitable Boy was a hit, it was top 10, which Werewolves of London wasn't. I was in a place where I just thought, you know, Bruce and Jackson are far more successful and the Eagles are far more successful than I am. Everything's relative. I wasn't anything but pleased, you know, but I didn't think it was the biggest thing on earth.
And suddenly it opened up a whole new vista.
I mean, I think, you know, that was the same time that The River came out. I remember Bruce playing me some tracks from that, some tracks that weren't even on The River. You know, and those were the things I thought about. Look what my colleagues are doing. You know, that's how you thought.
And is it a song you look back on with affection?
I'm very fond of Werewolves of London. I've never minded doing it every night. And I've always thought it was a little haughty of people who wouldn't do their old hits for the crowd, you know, for the customers. But I've also said that had I not had that hit, I would have been regarded as a very successful folk singer.
That's a good answer. You seem to have fans all over the world, Warren. I've been to websites, and you know, some of the websites, and there's massive affection that you seem to create amongst your fans and friends. Is there anything you want to say to them now?
I can't say anything to, you know, I never liked the word fans because it seems very, I don't know, self-aggrandizing to call the, you know, I prefer to call them the customers, although that sounds callous. But I don't have anything to say to them that I haven't already said, you know. I think that writing songs is an act of love, you know, and you write songs because you love the subject and you want to pass that feeling on. So I don't have any big, you know, farewell speech to make.
And I think everything you need saying's in the album, and you said it musically.
Well, I say it best musically. If I say it at all, you know, I've always said that songwriting was designed for the inarticulate. Some songwriters might not agree or comply with that idea, but that's how I feel about it.
Well, I think it's more than articulate. You got that. Okay. Tell us where do you find your most frequent source of inspiration? Do you start with a musical phrase, or do you start with the lyrics?
Generally, songwriting starts with lyrics. It starts with some kind of weird phrase. The creative process, you know, it's sort of goofy and mysterious and impossible to explain. And if it's not those things, then it's something else that isn't the creative process. That's the craft we spend our lives learning. You know, that's the technique we learn to figure out what to do with those wacky ideas.
In the sort of hierarchy of the craft, do you regard yourself as a lyricist first and then a composer, or how do you define yourself?
I'm absolutely sure that if I wasn't a songwriter, if I hadn't had the chance to do that job, that I would be strictly a musician. Although the truth probably is that I am a little more inclined to be of more use as a lyricist than as a musician.
And are there themes that you return to time and again? Are there themes that fascinate you, that you draw inspiration from?
Well, certainly, clearly, one of the reasons we find ourselves here, and I find myself in a unique position of not being able to complain about my present circumstances, is that I've always been interested in writing about death. You know, Hemingway said all good stories end in death. And for some reason or another, I've been writing songs about death and mortality and violence, and I'm not sure why. Some of them are for reasons based on my upbringing, I guess, my background. Some of them are based more, truly, they're based on my reading habits. When I was a kid in the 60s, you know, I read Norman Mailer and I read Hunter Thompson, I read a kind of strain of American writers who tended to be kind of violent. And then during the war and everything, we lived in a culture, and we live in a culture where violence is all around us. And I found myself, I don't know if I chose to, but I found myself writing songs about violent subjects more than romantic subjects. I mean, now and then I like to think I have, you know, some good-hearted romantic impulses and express them in songs, but for the most part, I write a different kind of song than that.
You made reference to your background. I mean, how do you think tell us a little bit about it in terms of how it's influenced your later life and your lyrics.
Well, my father was a gangster in the 50s in Los Angeles. I'm not really comfortable talking about it in much more detail than that. I never have been, but certainly, to use that term the critics always like, it informs my work and my approach to it and my identity. You know, my friend Tom McGuane, the novelist, wrote a book called Panama, in which the protagonist is a rock musician who has the delusion that his father was Jesse James. And I said, Tom, this is about me. My father was Jesse James. And he said, I know. You're the only one who gets it.
You also mentioned that you read a lot as a child. There was I can see how well read you are. You have quite a precise or broad literary sensibility, and you're enjoying working with quite a lot of writers at the moment. I mean, tell us a bit about what the inspirations are there. What are there precise things that you draw on from your readings?
Well, no, I don't think so. You know, I've always said that reading and literature and the literary life and all those things are just like an inclination you pick up. You know, they're a hobby, the same as lacrosse, or the same as, you know, golf or anything else. They're just something you kind of pick up and develop an interest in, and the interest develops. You develop an interest in it, and then the interest develops. And I don't know how or why exactly it happened. My mother was a big reader, but it just took that course.
Yours seems to me.
And I was more interested, excuse me, Nick, I was more interested in contemporary writing than I was, I guess, in contemporary music than in pop music. I mean, it's sacrilegious to say that I wasn't a great rock and roller, a great rock and roll fan, but I was more curious as to what Norman Mailer was going to have to say, you know, or John Updike or John Cheever or any of those guys, because it seemed to be a lot wilder and a lot more interesting and wilder and more shocking and scary and just interesting than, you know, what was going on in pop music in the early 60s.
Do you remember your first? What was the music that first turned you on?
The music that first turned me on was classical music. Was Stravinsky, was Beethoven. You know, that's what first turned me on. It took me quite a while to get around to rock and roll. And when I did get around to rock and roll, ironically, because I had the opportunity to work with them later on, it was the Everly Brothers that was the first rock music that engaged me.
Tell us a bit about that experience working with them, if you would.
Well, I needed a job rather desperately, and I was friends with a guy named David Marks, who was one of the Beach Boys for a while, and he owned an apartment building. I guess that's what he did with his Beach Boy money, and he invested in this apartment building and then had the lack of sense to let his musician friends move into it and not pay rent. And I was living there, and through him I met the Everly Brothers and got a chance to play piano for them.
And in your own career, how did you establish yourself as a solo artist with that background?
It was a slow and kind of difficult process to establish myself as a solo artist, because even though I had grotesque ambitions to be a folk singer, they would, you know, I failed so successfully that it kind of disabused me of the idea of being a folk singer. So it was a slow process. You know, I became like a side man and a band leader, and also, you know, kind of like a real bad session man. That's what I was. I was like a really bad session player. I had a 12-string guitar, a Rickenbacker 12-string, like Roger McGuinn's, and sometimes I would get hired just because I had that guitar, and I'd be sitting next to Glenn Campbell or Lou Morella or one of those guys, and they'd look around like, I don't think this young fella can play this instrument. But, you know, that's kind of how my job life went along for a few years.
Any stories from your days as a folk singer? Were you warmly appreciated when you performed live?
No, I was I can't say widely, but I was detested, and I know what you're edging towards, which is the story of how I lost all my finger picks down the hole of my guitar in Greenwich Village when I tried to become a pass the hat, you know, village folk singer. And that was kind of like, you know, that was kind of what the nature of my early folk career was like.
Who gave you your...
I was really bad. And it's important for musicians, young musicians, starting out musicians, to understand that they may go through a period when they're really, really bad. And that's when you're kind of, your gall is tested. You know, your nerve is you get a chance to find out how bad you want it. You have to want it pretty bad.
Tell us, if you would, how you got your first break.
Is this going okay?
It's great. It's awesome.
Really?
Really.
Is this going okay, Nikki?
Yes. Oh, yes.
It's wonderful. I mean,
I can't tell because I'm kind of. It's like I think it was some kind of Madeline Stowe movie where, you know,
yeah. Well,
I'm just looking into bright lights, and it's so much like The Cops Coming, you know.
I'm sorry. I wish you didn't
What?
have to do it.
What?
It sounds good.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the last word on that subject.
Tell us more about your first break as a recording artist.
As Steve McQueen said in Tom Horn, well, that's my last word on that matter. I'm sorry, okay?
How did your recording career begin? Were you ready for that break?
I certainly wasn't ready for it in terms of anything resembling talent, but I got a great break through, well, these were like high school friends, I guess. It's how anybody would start out, you know, high school friends who somebody you know in school has a sister who works for a record company where the Turtles are signed, and I wrote a couple of songs that the Turtles recorded, and, well, more than recorded, that the Turtles put on the backside of the song Happy Together, which was, you know, the biggest selling record of the 60s or something preposterous like that. But you can imagine that it paid the rent and the junk food bills for a long, long time.
And were you always, you were trained in the piano? I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah.
Classically trained with the piano.
Yeah.
When did you start first picking up the guitar?
Well, I had gotten piano lessons, and I was interested in composing. You know, I was a classical composer. I was composing this like kind of 12-tone dissonant music, which in retrospect I think was kind of over culturally, you know. I think Stravinsky in some ways, and maybe, I don't know, not such a nice thing to say about our culture, but Stravinsky was the last great rock star composer who you know, made a tremendous impact and aroused a lot of interest in the audience, in the general audience. So I started out with an interest in that kind of classical music, and then I guess around the time, simultaneously I kind of reached puberty and began to feel around for some way of communicating with my fellow, my peer group. And at the same time, I observed that classical music, as I understood it, and as I loved it and still do, seemed to be sort of over culturally. So by playing the guitar, there began to be like the ghost of a chance of getting a date, or, you know, impressing the girls, and at the same time feeling my way towards a kind of artistic expression that classical music didn't seem to provide anymore for anyone.
Well, and you've obviously, I was just asking you when you think you started defining a clear voice as a recording artist. Was there a point at which you felt, okay, now I know where I'm headed?
Yeah, and the honest answer to your question is last night. About 4 o'clock this morning, I was sitting here and I wrote this middle verse of this new song, and I thought, this is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this.
I'm getting the hang of it now.
Yeah.
That's
how it goes.
Tell us a bit about this album. How far have you got? How many songs have you recorded? Tell us what you've drawn on, what life experience.
I don't know exactly. We have 5 songs recorded. Klukmop, how many songs do we have written? 8?
Jorge, how many songs have you guys written?
Probably about 8. And I'm writing songs pretty fast, and Jorge and I together are writing songs pretty fast, so it seems like they're, well, I don't know, you know, hopefully I'm going to be around write quite a few songs for this album.
Are you drawing on different sources of inspiration for them? Are you adopting a different approach in any way?
No, I wouldn't say so, except insofar as I said that the idea for a song, the inspiration for a song, it just kind of shows up there in front of you, and they seem to be showing up more often, quicker, but not because we have an agenda. I've never been a songwriter who had an agenda. Well, here's, we're going to get them voting this way or thinking that way or showing up at my door. I've never been a songwriter with an agenda, but things seem to be coming along pretty quickly, which is very, very exciting. One of my closest friends is a novelist, and he has this superstition that if once you've started a novel, you won't die until you're done. So it's a good reason to drag it out. But I kind of subscribe to that idea too. The project will keep going.
Is there a way in which you're drawn to be slightly more personal or reflective or even autobiographical with your lyrical content now?
Yeah, a little more so. I think that I'm more interested in communicating, what meager ideas I think I have about living, and I'm interested in saying goodbye to a few people, specifically, kind of.
Can you talk a little bit about that and how you do that in the song?
You do it as well as you can. Like anything else, you just do it as well as you can. I have certain things to say to people, and hopefully I'll get the. I seem to be given the opportunity to get them down, and get them recorded and get them out, for which I'm very grateful.
Talking about this album, tell us who you're collaborating with. You always in your career seem to have made a virtue of collaborating with some wonderful people.
I've done a lot of collaborations, and I enjoy it very much. And I've collaborated with people that I know maybe somewhat less well, and with close friends. This album I'm doing, I guess, almost exclusively with Jorge Calderon, who's my oldest friend and closest collaborator. And I think that has, aside from all the other things that I enjoy about our work together, I think it has the most intimate quality, which is something that seems to behoove me to do at this point in life. Really get close to the quick.
You've also chosen to work with several friends who are writers and actors.
Mm-hmm.
You've also chosen to work with friends who are writers and actors on this. Is that are you trying to get draw as widely as possible on friends and associates for
I've always Jackson said to me about 25 years ago, you get by with a little help from your friends. I'm always interested in working with other people and the different kinds of people that I work with and the different kinds of results. But this album, we're working with some people that I've always wanted to work with Ry Cooder, and it's always a great joy to work with David Lindley. And there are a lot of people that are great to work with. Dwight Yoakam is one of my favorite people to sing with because I'm so enraptured with his voice. Billy Bob Thornton has a voice that really blends well with me. And I find it interesting to work with actor-singers, because sometimes you can get an emotional resonance from an actor-singer that you might not get the same depth from a musician. And I'm kind of going after that quite a bit on this record.
This is a unique album. I mean, are you feeling the pressure of time a lot?
The pressure of time?
Mm.
Ooh, am I feeling the pressure of time? I take a nap and wake up and, and look around and make sure I'm still here. And, so far, every nap I've woken up from, I've still been here. So there's certainly I don't know if pressure is exactly the word, but I'm constantly aware of it.
Tell us, if you would, about how you discovered about your illness, if you're comfortable talking about it, and how you came into how you received that information.
I was working out. I embarked on, like you'll do every couple of years, or I've always done. I embarked on a particularly heavy program of exercise and working out, and I found that I was kind of short of breath, and I went to Canada to do a couple of folk shows, and I was in Calgary, I remember, and there was some fellow in the gym with me. I said, "What's the elevation here, buddy?" Because I was very short of breath, and my failing, my ignorant behavior is that I've always been a little doctor phobic, and I've never gotten checkups, and I haven't, taken care of myself in that regard. In other respects, health-wise, I have, but I had this shortness of breath for a while, and I've always kidded around that one of my best friends is Stan Golden, my dentist, Dr. Stan, and I used to say, if Dr. Stan if he can't fix it, call 911, I'm done. And I mentioned to Dr. Stan that I had shortness of breath and this deal, and he said, "Is it worse when you sleep?" "Yes." And he said, "Well, we're going to a cardiologist in the morning." And I was lucky, I think, because I got all the news, I got all the progression of tests, all the roller coaster ride of hopes and shocking news in the course of one day. And now I feel like I may be irritating people because I seem to have already exceeded one of the predictions, which was that I only had a few months, and I think it's been a couple of months since that I heard that from one doctor. But that's that deal. As Mickey Spillane would say, that's that deal.
A monumental, shattering reality, I suppose, to take on board. I mean, how would you say you adjusted to it? At what point did you decide you wanted to go back in the studio?
I decided to start recording, Nicky, almost immediately, because it's the only thing I know how to do that's really, well, not the only thing. It's one of the only things I know how to do that's so engrossing and compelling and engaging that it takes your mind off whatever minor business your life is conducting, with or without your agreement. The things that matter to me most are the kids, my two kids, and making music, and a couple other things like that.
Are you conscious that you're recording things for posterity now? I asked you earlier if it's influencing the content of your lyrics. Is it influencing how you approach the recording process or the arrangement of the songs at all?
No, the beauty of songwriting and recording and playing and working like with Jorge is that you're engaged in the moment. You're taken up in the moment. And that's what we all sort of, we all more or less know that's the lesson, you know, to stay in the moment, to be involved in the moment. And so that's how it is.
I'll be right here.
Tell us what the song you're recording today, Warren.
What?
Tell us what song you're recording today.
Jorge and I wrote a little stadium kind of party song called "The Rest of the Night," Party for the Rest of the Night. I felt that it was, you know, kind of a nice sentiment for me, and so we thought we'd pound out every drop of sentimentality we could from it, and you know, make it into one of our bonehead classics.
Sounded great to me.
It sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, excellent. How's the writing coming in the last week or two?
We've been writing. You know, I mean, I think that as long as I keep working, it's keeping me alive, you know. And so I'm trying to expand the format as much as I can to 13 or 14 songs. So I guess we've been writing for the past week or so, haven't we? We haven't been in the studio too much.
Is inspiration coming easily?
Yes, it comes very easily. It's never happened before in my life. Inspiration always came painfully, brutally, and rarely. And I'm not saying it's a good trade-off, but there's a lot of inspiration, a lot of ideas, and a lot of shit, and a lot of tunes coming real fast, as you know, Nicky.
Sure. Does it keep the anxieties at bay?
Does it keep the anxieties at bay? No. No, the anxieties are there. I'd be a fool if I wasn't, concerned. But it certainly helps more than anything else. More than anything they can prescribe, it helps. Being involved in a song, you know, or having something to work on helps more than anything else. So, life's a lot of fun. You have to remember that, and you have to keep having fun. I'm not really smoking. But I do have that Bogart, notice the hand position.
Is that non-filtered, are you sure?
Yeah, it is non-filtered. What would you do if you had a month to live?
All right, back to work, Marty.
I've been reading some. I wanted to tell you, Nick, I've read some very upsetting stuff. I did the thing you're not supposed to do, which is tune into what the fans write on the internet. And they're all saying that, you know, it's like heroic or something that I won't get treatment. And I think there's something so incredibly morbid about that, don't you?
Yeah.
In the first place, I just stalled, I stalled getting the discussion of having treatment so I could finish the record because I didn't want any drastic alterations in my health other than dying. And, well, I was really kind of shocked and disappointed in people when I read that.
Yeah.
That's why he's our hero. Because he won't get treatment. Because, I think it's a sin not to want to live. You know what I mean? Life's too good. I mean, whatever the condition, whatever the circumstances. And I was very disappointed when I read this that people think that I've taken some big stand, some stand that I won't let myself be helped. Shit, man, I'll let them do anything. I'll let them try some shit. Because, everything's fun to me.
So have you made any conscious decision about it, or have you been given specific advice?
No, I saw, you met the oncologist, and I saw her last week, and I said, you got to give me at least another month to work on the album uninterrupted.
And she said, yeah, I know I'm not going to see it till after the holidays. But then I'll go in and then we'll see what they, what they suggest. And then I guess they try stuff out on you. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows? People will tell you a hangover will kill them. I mean, people have very different ideas, different thresholds of pain and different thresholds of discomfort. So I don't know, maybe it won't even bother me to get treatment. Or maybe it changes the quality of life so much that, I'll have to make a different kind of decision. The decision that people seem to have already projected onto me. You know what I mean?
You make a lot of assumptions in the situation.
Well, I guess it dramatizes the situation, doesn't it? If you think that I just said, oh, sure, I'll go tonight at midnight, gone. But, who wants to do that? As you know, I accept it, but it doesn't mean that I'm not going to fish around a little and see if there's something to give me a few more midnights. Come on, let's go back to work.
Yes, go with you.
Warren, you were just telling us a little bit about the Letterman show and about your feelings beforehand. Can I ask you about your feelings afterwards and your experiences afterwards?
It's not the easiest thing in the world, really, to deal with the absolute reality of saying goodbye. So, and it was a little bit difficult in some ways. But Dave's been a great friend to me and a great friend of my music. I think I said on the air that he's been the best friend my music ever had. And I gave Dave my principal electric guitar, the one we call the Gray Visitation, Old Gray. I gave it to him after the show, the one I've always played on the show. And I think he appreciated it. He's a good guy. He's a real good guy.
Tell us about your reunion with Hunter. I think that felt like a very different occasion to me.
No, that's only because you haven't seen Hunter before. Every occasion with Hunter is a different occasion. That's just Hunter.
What does he mean to you, Hunter?
Hunter was one of the great influences on the way I went about writing songs, and the ideas I had for making songs a little different than the songs that I guess came before the songs that I hadn't heard yet. I wanted to write and hear a kind of song that I hadn't really heard too much of yet. And Hunter was a great influence on me, but, Hunter is Hunter. I think Hunter's a great genius, a great American writer, and when he chooses to be, he's also a great gentleman, a great Southern gentleman. And if you want to pursue the subject anymore, I suggest that we go straight to the airport and put 2 first-class tickets to Aspen on VH1's budget, and we'll go see what Hunter has to say about it. Why not? Why not?
I think that's a damn fine idea.
Sure.
I'll go on the record with that one.
Sure. I'll take an oxygen tank.
3 tickets.
In fact, the first conversation we ever had, the first exchange we ever had, is I had arrived in Aspen. My daughter and I arrived in Aspen it was only 10 years ago when we met. And I said, and he called me at the club I was playing at and said, how are you? I said, Hunter, Dr. Thompson, I've got the most terrible headache you can ever imagine. I don't know what to do at this altitude. And he said, acid? And I said, well, I don't know. He said, oxygen? And I said, well, there you go. He said, well, I'll bring you a tank. So we'll tell the doc to provide a tank, and let's get on the plane. VH1 budget, come on.
Grooving solo.
a continuum.
Did you sense that?
It's a continuum of hardship. Then.
Did you sense they didn't like this vocal?
I like this vocal. I think it was great. It's a
Yeah,
good
but you have
song.
nothing at stake. You have nothing at stake. I mean, comedy plays the same as tragedy for you. But didn't you sense that they didn't like this vocal? Anything about it?
Well, I think they're talking about it now in the booth.
Yeah,
over there.
yeah. Why don't you rush in there and see what they're saying? Because they're going to be saying, oh, ho, 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 ho. That's what they're going to be saying.
I just see Noah do this.
In a perfect world, I'd be playing lead guitar like Jimi Hendrix and everything. But then Jimi Hendrix didn't really work out in a perfect world, did he?
Well, apparently not. Apparently, no, he was also similarly, well, not similarly, but he was.
Well, we like to think similarly, do we?
Curtailed. Is that a word?
Turn the camera on this guy. Give me the camera. Give me the camera. And Nick says, Jimi Hendrix was similarly curtailed.
Very diplomatic. I don't know. What else would you? What else would you?
Perfectly worded, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's
Nick says, well, yes, Jimi Hendrix was similarly curtailed.
Well, it's difficult to find the words. When you, as you said, the first time we met, you said you were the one that would make the jokes. So. And you do, my friend. You do wonderfully. Oh, I can't imagine what this man is going through, but all I can say is either perfectly medicated or perfectly centered, but God, I admire you.
That's what Deepak Chopra said.
Deepak Chopra?
Yeah.
Who's he?
Deepak Chopra?
Yeah.
Well, look it up.
I will.
Disorder in the house.
I know where I am now anyway. All right.
Gravity Hill.
It's gone now. They shaved
gone?
it down.
Oh, you're kidding.
They took it down. There were too many accidents there. Warren and I, there was this place called Gravity Hill. It was about 5 minutes from my house. And one merry night we went over there. And the thing was, if you parked your car at the bottom of the hill, it would roll backwards up the hill. You're kidding? Yeah, it was pretty. Wow. It was a mystery. That's what it was. It was our classic local mystery spot.
That is something. And I said there must be some kind of deposit of magnetic lodestone kind of, and Bruce says, no, Warren, it's just Gravity Hill.
So, anyway, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
The big guns have spoken, and we're falling for the
Hallelujah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, man, that's
That's good stuff.
That was amazing, man.
That's good. That's some good stuff on
Capital F-U-N.
Yeah. You were in record, right?
All right, that was the rundown. Now let's take it.
Oh, man. Whoa. That was some shit, man.
That's glorious, man. That's glorious. Rock and roll.
Wow.
Alive and kicking.
Hell yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Joy,
Good.
joy, joy.
Why don't you guys see if you like the sound of this baritone on the riff? Ba-do, 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 ba.
Oh, sure, man.
I don't know, but I plug it in. It may sound good. And you can see what it sounds like. It looks good.
You still have the price tag. It should
It
sound
looks really good with the tag on.
57.
This is
Got
what?
it. It's a 57. The guy they want $1,600 for it
There you
without
go.
the knobs.
Without the knobs.
How much is it with the knobs?
$1,600.50.
Exactly. How
We got
much is it with the
knobs, we got
knobs, man? Ain't no knobs on this thing.
Put your foot there, man.
These things were actually constructed by the E Street Band in Neptune, New Jersey. Not this one. This one's a little old for us, but a
57.
lot of the 60s ones were. They all worked in the Dan Electro
Man,
factory.
New Jersey's a pretty sci-fi state with Gravity Hill and Neptune and
I
all
know,
that.
these
Oh,
babies
yeah.
came out of Jersey, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
All right, let's. Am I on out there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, baby.
That was fun. wasn't it?
Wow.
That's fun.
Good. Good. Came out good.
And you are him. The only person I ever said that to was Keith Richards. In the studio. Yeah, you should. Whoa.
All right, let's get it. Let's get a solo.
Get the solo,
Oh, yeah,
man.
get that solo section.
Sound-wise, let me see.
Get the Blondie.
All right, you want to see the Blondie?
Yeah.
Blondie tends to be a little warmer sounding.
It's got mileage.
It's got
That's
plenty
what
of
we
mileage.
like. Yeah, it's a beauty, man. It's a beauty.
It's got plenty of mileage.
Yeah.
It's a broadcaster?
This baby was an Esquire neck on a Telecaster body. I got it for $180 when I was 22. It's a guitar I've played since then.
Leo Fender was a genius, man.
You know?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, all the parts went together and,
Yeah.
you know, so. Let me see what I sound like here. Might be good for the solo.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Is that good? Or
You know, basically.
Now, when did you get here?
I just walked in.
just
I
walked
actually
in.
just walked in.
And did
but-
you bring these guys with you?
No, they weren't here. They weren't here when
You
They
just
weren't
like,
here when you closed your eyes?
no, they weren't.
No, they didn't come with me. They're not with me. Does Jim still here? Is Lindley still out there? Evidently,
Kelly's
Rye
still
just
here.
left because I found his guitar lying out in the parking lot.
What?
Are you kidding?
Oh. I just found a guitar, and when I opened it, I turned it in the office. I said, by the way, let me just see who,
Why-
see what it was, and it was the,
was Rye's
Kudercaster.
And he just left it sitting there?
Evidently, I've done that,
I have too.
but not with Rye's guitar. With
I
mine.
did that with my first wife one time. With the guitar, by the way.
So did I. Not your first one.